Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going over the Primary Arms GLx series of scopes. So as of right now, they come in 3 different sizes, 3 different magnification levels, and they offer a number of different ACSS reticles for them. So we'll touch on those here in just a little bit. But basically the GLx line is all made in the Philippines. It has a 30mm tube. It has fantastic glass clarity. It also has a auto off, auto on illumination feature. Basically, if you leave your illumination on after 3 seconds, if it doesn't move at all, I believe it's 3 seconds, might be longer than that. If it doesn't move at all, it does shut off, but as soon as you move it at all, it turns right back on. So you're going to save battery life that way. I know a lot of folks do like that. Like I said, 30mm tubes. We'll go into the reticles, but these things have fantastic turrets as well, which we'll talk about here in just a second. So without any more yapping from me, let's get up close and personal and kind of walk you guys through the features of these scopes. Here we have our 3 different sizes. We have the 2.5 to 10, then our 4 to 16 here, and then our 6 to 24. You guys can get an idea of the size of the different versions of them. I should note they all do come with Butler Creek caps. I just, generally speaking, don't like flip caps and take them off. But for their actual magnification range, they are a little bit on the longer side compared to competitive offerings out there. But one reason for that, and one thing that does, I guess I should say, is that it gives you a wider field of view for the magnification setting that you're at compared to most other offerings out there on the market. We'll roll in the data here for the different scopes as we go along. But pricing wise, currently, right now anyway, this one here, our 2.5 to 10, is coming in right around $649, and then our other 2 are coming in right at $700. I should also mention that right now code Mr. Guns and Gear will get you guys a free mount or rings at checkout at time of purchase. I can also, if you guys don't want to use a code, I can also generate a custom link that will get you guys the free mount and the free rings as well. If you need that, just shoot me a message over at Facebook. Either way, that is an option for our channel viewers here, so I definitely do like that. Now let's get into some of the details on these scopes. At the rear of all the scopes, we do have our adjustable diopter. So what this does, for folks that don't know, is that it lets you set the scope to your eyes and your vision. It's going to change the clarity that you see as you look through the scope. Everyone's eyes are a little bit different, so you got to set it for your eye. But the thing I like about it is, number 1, it's rubbery and grippy. But number 2, it's not so easy to adjust that it's accidentally going to move on you. Basically, once you set it, you'll never have to mess with it again. And then we have our, of course, magnification adjustment here, and you guys can see the entire throw is right about 180 degrees, actually just a little bit less than that. And this piece right here that sticks up is adjustable. So if you don't want it in this position, you can take it out via those 2 screws and move it to any of these 3 positions here on the actual ring itself. As I mentioned earlier, the turrets on these scopes are fantastic. Few reasons for that. Number 1 is that they use steel on steel. So a lot of turrets will use brass components, which over time can get kind of mushy. These have steel turrets and then steel erectors within there as well. So all of it's steel on steel. It's very tactile, very audible. I'm wearing a lav mic right now, so you guys probably won't be able to hear it. And we do have this one set here for our 0 stop, which we'll talk about right now. So basically, I debated going into the actual instructions on how to set your 0 stop, but I'm going to refer you to a video by a guy named Country Mash. If you're not familiar with this channel, I'll put a link up here in the video screen, and I'll try to remember to put it in the description as well, where you guys can go check out his tutorial on that, because it takes like 8 minutes and I'm not going to go through it. But regardless, just know it does have a 0 stop and a Z stop to it, and the actual adjustments on all the scopes as of right now anyway are 0.1 mils. And basically with your 0 stop, you can dial in whatever you want to, if you choose to dial for the reticle that you have, and then whenever you come back to your 0 stop, it's going to hit it right there. And it also allows you the ability to dial under if you're doing any high altitude shooting, or just, say you have a 200-yard 0 and you have something a little bit closer, you can dial it down as well. But you have to push that button to do so. Regardless, if you don't do that, it's going to come back and go right to your 0 point there, as you guys can see. I have done a box test on these. They track exceptionally well, honestly, as good as any scope I've ever tested, so cannot be mad about that. The windage is user adjustable as well. You can set it for your 0 as well. It does not have a 0 stop though, just know that going into it. Another thing I like about the turrets is that they're marked in a way that the shooter can easily see them. So when you're behind the gun, if you forget which way is up, which way is down, whatever the case may be, it shows it right there. So you can just kind of peek up and get a quick look. The same is true here on the windage turret. Now over here, we have a few things going on the left side. Like I mentioned, it is the elevation rather does have the auto on, auto off feature. It's also night vision compatible. This ring right here is your parallax. So what that does is it, again, changes kind of the focus of where the scope is focused at, if that makes sense. So you're gonna have, let's say your target is at 200 yards. So if you set your parallax at 200 yards, it should be nice and crispy clear. Additionally, if you're moving your head around behind the optic, the reticle is going to not move at that point, or it's going to move much, much less than it would, say, if it was at 1,000 yards, if that makes sense. And then, of course, you can leave it on infinity, which is what I know a lot of folks do as well. In terms of the illumination, like I said, night vision compatible, 1 through 10, and a nice thing about it, again, is that it has these intermediate positions there for off, so you can put it at 10, and then if you want to go back to, off, it's just half a click, and that way you can go from nothing to all of the illumination if that's what you choose to do, which I think a lot of folks will do, on and off. These scopes are available in a number of different reticles. I'm going to go over 1 mil reticle, and I'm also going to go over one of their BDC style reticles just to kind of give you guys an idea. Again, though, there's a ton of different reticle options available for this, but definitely one of my favorites is the Athena BPR mil. A lot of reasons for that, which we're about to touch on right now. So in the center, you do have that chevron, which gives you that infinite aiming point, infinitely small, rather, aiming point, which I certainly do like. Over to the left and right, actually both at the horizontal steady line, you'll see it gives you the ability to mill down to 0.05 or 0.5 mils rather, which is very convenient if you want to get a really fine precision firing solution. And up in the top right portion of your reticle, that is an auto ranging feature for human beings that are 5'10" and have their shoulder width of 18 inches. That's the military standard. For folks that don't know, you can put their feet down there at the bottom and get a range that way. That said, if you can only see their torso, you can do it by using their shoulder width and line it up, and then that will give you a quick firing solution to know how far away, or quick range estimation rather, I should say, to know how far away a person is getting down into the actual quote-unquote Christmas tree portion of the reticle. You'll note a few things. Number one is that they do have marked levels, right? So if you go down 2, if you go down 4, if you go down 8, if you go down 6, etc., you do have a reference point there in the reticle. There's a lot of reticles that don't have that, and it's super easy to get lost in the reticle and or have to count very slowly where you're at, which takes time, and sometimes, depending on the type of shooting you're doing, that time can cost you big time. Additionally, in the center line there, every 5 mils it has that sort of barbell looking shape there. What's nice about that is it gives you, again, just a quick reference point. If you need to, you need to go down 15 mils, let's say, or hold over 15 mils, you can quickly just go 1, 2, 3 with the barred portion and be on it and not have to worry about glancing over to the side. The dots on the left and the right, the larger ones are 1 mil and the smaller ones are 0.5 mil. What's cool about that is that it's a very clean picture. A lot of Christmas tree style reticles are going to have some larger portions within the tree, if that makes sense. Having these small portions within the tree, or small objects, I guess you could say, within the tree, what that does is it allows you to very easily see your splash and make a very fast follow-up shot should you miss on the first one. And additionally, it just gives you a decluttered picture as well for situational awareness and really fine aiming points with those half MOA dots there, or 0.5 mil dots. Now we're going to take a look at one of the BDC style options. This is the HUD DMR, and for folks that watch the channel, you guys probably know this is my favorite BDC reticle to date I've ever used. It's fantastic. It is super fast, and the more you work with it, the more practice you get, the faster you get with it. And I'm pretty quick with it these days at this point in my life. But we'll go over the features here for you. So in the center, you have that chevron, again, infinitely fine aiming point, which is nice, getting a good zero on it. Then you have that the horseshoe rather around it. So say on the 2.5 to 10, for instance, if you're using this at up close and personal ranges, it's very, very fast for a 2.5x style scope. course. To just get you on target at that close distance. And you know, if you're looking for SPR style of gun, that 2.5 to 10 is fantastic. If you guys ever watched my ultimate DMR build, there's a reason I went with that scope for that pick, because it really is the perfect scope for that type of setup, in my opinion. Anyway, if you look all the way here at the top left of your screen, that is someone who's 36 inches. So basically, if you had to range estimate someone from the belt up, and basically you just put that portion on the different bars along the side, and wherever it lines up, that is going to give you their approximate distance away from you. Again, that's based on military standards. Additionally, you can range estimate someone by shoulder to shoulder, just like what we talked about earlier. 18 inches, you put it on the center portion of the reticle, and that will, again, give you an approximate distance of that person away from you. Those little circles out there, what that is it's a BDC, or excuse me, a auto ranging feature for a head. So if all you can see is somebody's head sticking up in a window or something like that, that gives you the ability to range estimate that person for there as well. Moving on down, you guys can see the different holds with the 0 for, again, this one is 308. So you have your 400, your 500, your 600, and you guys can see the 4, 6, 8, and 0, which is 1000 at this point. Those are all annotated there. Again, very fast, very quick. You just glance over, see, make sure you're on the right holdover, and then engage. Those dots that you guys see there coming down, those are wind holds. So they are for a full value 5 and 10 mile an hour wind. Of course, if you have, say, a half value wind, you just half it, right? And gives you a good reference point for holding out in distance. If you're using 308 or 223 or something like that, of course, those get pushed around pretty good in the wind at distance, so those wind holds very quickly come into play. And if you order any of the scopes that have a BDC style ACSS reticle in the box in your manual, you will have a guide in terms of zeroing with different loads, because of course every load is a little bit different, and it will come with very common loads for that caliber, which certainly is nice, because you can dial it in exactly how you want it and have that auto ranging, very fast capability without having to worry about, oh, is it, 4 or 5 inches off at 600 yards or something like that. At this point in the video, I think we've covered most of the important things. One thing I really can't convey to you, though, unfortunately, through a camera, is the glass clarity. The glass clarity on these is fantastic, and I will absolutely say that for the price range these are at, it's the best glass I've used to date. Again, if we're talking about coming to market at $700 or less, it's just absolutely fantastic. Edge clarity is excellent. I was talking with someone earlier, a viewer, who was asking, like, what should I get? Should I get the GLX or should I get the Platinum Series? Of course, the Platinum Series, for folks that don't know, it has that Japanese glass, and that's fantastic, of course. And honestly, if you look at these back to back, it's tough. It is tough to notice the improvement that you get with the Platinum line. Now, I'm not denigrating the Platinum line. The Platinum line it's better, right? It does have slightly better glass, but I mean, we're talking like, if I had to put it on like a scale, right? Like this would be like a 95, the Platinum's a 99, if that makes sense, out of 100. So it is very, very close to that kind of quality. And again, value-wise, glass-wise, I think it's a fantastic value. Again, regardless of which model you're actually looking at. Which model you're looking at, of course, is going to be up to you, depending on your shooting situations, what you need out of the scope, what kind of reticle you prefer, the caliber of your rifle, the weight that you like, etc. All of those things come into play, but the weight on these scopes is actually really good as well, again, especially given the size. You think, looking at them, you're going to be like, oh, that's kind of heavy, but they're really not compared to other competitive offerings out there on the market. Again, so with that, I think we've covered everything that I can cover with you guys. If you have any questions about the scopes, the reticles, anything like that, you can post down below in the comment section as always. But if you just, if you need your question to actually be answered, the best place to reach me is over at my Facebook page. I do get back to everybody because I see the messages over there, whereas on YouTube or elsewhere that I post content, I don't always see the messages, so I can't get back to you if I don't see it. So there is that. If you guys are new here and you like what you saw, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you've already subscribed, make sure you hit the notification bell. If you've done both of those and you're not seeing 3 or more videos a week here coming out on the channel, make sure you sign up for my email list. You can do that over at mrgunsandgear.com. Just sign up. I send out at most 1 email a week, so nothing super spammy. It's just got all the videos since the last email came out, and then a few deals that we find along the way, should these ever go on sale, which right now I kind of doubt will happen for a long time, because as soon as these come in stock these days, they sell out right away. for all the reasons that we just covered here in the video. But regardless, should these ever go on sale, I'll put it in the email so that way you guys can save a little bit of money on these types of things. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video. That's a 55 grain M193. That far target is at 425 yards. That HUD reticle, that barrel, that trigger, it works.